Well, good evening everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are having a nice evening. It is a pretty chilly evening tonight, but I'm back with another topic. And before I get started, I wanted to say that this is a requested video, and it's a video that I actually wanted to leave for some time, but it's a very sensitive topic, and I want to say that this video is not for everyone. This video is for people who are healing from heartache, and I know that we've all been there, so if you want to listen to this video, you're welcome to do so. I must put out a disclaimer and say that this video is based off of experiences that I've had and the things that I had to do to help heal my heart and to make me feel whole and to help me to regain the confidence and the self-worth and love that I know that's in me. So this is based on my life and no one else. I have often leave a lot of videos about relationships, and I just want people to understand that everybody's experience is different. Everybody's lifestyle is different. Everybody's upbringing is different. The way we choose to handle situations is different. Our tolerance is different. So therefore, the way that I may do something may be different from the way that you do it. But I just want to share my experience and to help someone who may be still hurting or stuck in a situation, to get them thinking and maybe help them to decide that today is the day that they get past where they're stuck. And it's been a long time. When I think back about, let's see, I was married in my early 20s, and that was the love of my life. And I will never forget that relationship. And I use it in a lot of different scenarios and conversations that I have, mainly because it was a time in my life that I had to grow. And I went into that relationship, I wouldn't say with low self-esteem, but I went in that relationship from dealing with a lot of issues from my upbringing, coming up in an environment of domestic violence with my parents, my stepfather and my mom, and just different situations, alcoholism. And when you have that type of upbringing and you don't have the proper role models, a lot of times you don't really know what to look for. And that may be the situation for some of you, and it may not be. But what I've always wanted is something that I never saw, and that was to have a family. And to meet someone who just showered me with love and affection, and it was a whirlwind romance, a summer romance, when he was home on leave from being overseas. And I met him at McDonald's, and it was very interesting, and we had a very quick whirlwind romance. And then he quickly was shipped off overseas again. And during that course of being overseas, I found out some information about him, which was my first red flag. But I chose not to look at that red flag. I decided to excuse it, like a lot of us do as women. And because of that, that started that spiral and that down slide of traumatic and heartbreak. And when you think about your relationships, you have to go back to the beginning. And oftentimes we're so caught up in the affection and the romance that we miss a lot of things that are right in front of our face. And what I tell people when they're going through the healing process, if you truly want to get past your heartache, you have to make a decision that it stops today. If you're not there, you won't get past it. You have to make a decision that you're tired of it. I asked myself, which was worst? Being in a relationship with someone that hurt me all the time or dealing with the heartache of getting past that person. And I have to say that I rather dealt with getting past that heartache than to live with someone that I knew that didn't love me the way that I deserved to be loved. And to be constantly mistreated and hurt and disrespected and violated, it just wasn't worth it for me. And I won't share a lot of the real detailed parts of my relationship because it is very, very deep. And I'm actually writing a book, and hopefully within the next year or two, I will get this book out, because I've been writing this book for the last 3 years on and off, but it's so painful that oftentimes I stop and I have to just take a break from it. But I'm writing it because I want to share with women that it is possible to be at your lowest point and rise above that. I dealt with everything from being exposed to STDs in a marriage, yes, and violence with women trying to attack me because of him. And I'm not going to share the actual situations, but to just give you a little bit insight as to how bad that situation was. And I was at my lowest point. I felt like I had a nervous breakdown, because I remember one day being in the bathroom and pleading with him not to leave for the weekend, because that was a routine of his to, on a Friday when he came home from work. And mind you, I just had a baby. I had my youngest daughter, and she's a newborn. And he would come home, and immediately he would start to change clothes. He would shower and change clothes. And I knew that that meant that this was going to be a weekend out. So I would go into that mode of, what can I say, what can I do to try to make him stay at home with his family. And I remember him looking at me with disgust as I begged him not to leave that night on a Friday night and not leave us and to spend time with the family. And the look that he had on his face was like, you are just weak. You know, you're just disgusting to me, because I was literally pleading with him. And he left anyway. And I remember going to my bathroom, and I remember hearing the children. They were young. My son was about, I would say 8 or 9. And I had a daughter that was 4. And then I had a daughter that was a newborn. And I remember them playing in the room. I could hear them playing and laughing. And I was in the bathroom, and I remember sliding down the wall, sitting there. And I can't even tell you how many hours I was there. I just remember coming to myself and realizing that the day had turned into night. It was dark. And the kids were laying across the bed watching television at that time. And I could tell that they were about ready and exhausted and ready to go to bed. And I remember that I had cried because my face and my eyes were so swollen that I could barely see out of them. And I remember standing in the mirror and saying to myself, look at you. Look what you have gotten to. And I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like that reflection that was coming back to me. And I knew that I had more to live for, because I had 3 important people in my life that deserved to have a strong woman in their life that would be someone that they could look up to. And that started my change. Now, each situation may be different, because it may not be a situation where you have children. It could be a situation where it's just you, and you may not have other people that you got to think about. But I always say to myself, and I will say this to you, is it worth you losing who you are to want to be with somebody? Do you not deserve to have someone who respects you and love you the way that you love and respect them? Do you actually feel that you can sacrifice yourself to the point where someone will change for you? You can't. A person has to want to change for themselves. You cannot change an individual. And that night I started making my plans to what I was going to do as far as how I was going to get away and go on with my life. And it's very difficult when you're young and you don't have a lot of money. And you know, I hadn't finished my education in college. I had quit college for a minute because I was having children and all of that. So I didn't have the best jobs and I didn't have a lot of support from family. But I was determined that my life was more than cooking and cleaning and raising children and waiting for a cheating husband to come home on a Sunday after he left on a Friday. I felt that I was more worthy than that. I'm special. You have to believe that you're worthy of something because God said you are. Everything that God made is good. And for you to deny that very thing, you're calling God a lie. Because God didn't make anything that wasn't good. And if you don't treat yourself in high regard the way that God looks at you, you're calling God a lie. And thinking a lot about those types of things is what got me to realizing that it had to be a better life, even if it meant being by myself. I decided to take a break from trying to date, because when you're not healthy, when you're at that state where you're constantly doubting everything, you're not trusting anyone, you don't feel good about who you are, you don't like how you look, you don't like how you talk, how would somebody else see the good in you if you can't see it in yourself? So taking a break and really stripping down. And I actually had a video where it talked about the famine. Famine is like when you're starving. You just strip completely down and you allow yourself to feel everything, all of the emotions, the heartache, the pain, the crying, the screaming. Let it all out. Just let it all out. Feel it. Let it come out, because the only way that you can get past it is to release it. And the only way I did that was I stopped actually having any type of social life. I didn't go out with guys. I didn't date. I stayed at home and I started writing down my thoughts, how I felt, how I thought about myself, what I didn't like about myself, what I liked about myself, and to get it all down on paper and to read it. And that was the starting of my healing, because I realized that people couldn't value me if I didn't value me. If you don't look at yourself as worthy of being treated well, being loved, being talked to in a respectful manner, if you don't feel that, why would anybody else? So I started telling myself, I started writing down everything that was good about me, everything that I liked about me, because I'm a good person and I treat everybody the way that I want to be treated. So why don't I deserve that? You got to learn to appreciate who you are, because everything about you is good. If someone can't appreciate who you are, they are not worthy of your love. They're not worthy to be in your space. You got to feel that you're just as important as anyone out there. I don't feel that there is a man alive that's better than me. I don't feel that there's a woman alive that's better than me. Some people may look at it in a different way, but you got to value who you are. Surround yourself with people who will support you. You need a support system. And even if you don't have a lot of friends, it might be one person out there that will listen to you. They will listen to you cry. They will be there for you. They will talk with you when you are down and when you're lonely. If you need someone that will keep you from making the same decision to go back, one of the things you have to do is stop taking the phone calls. You can't heal if you're steadily talking to the person. You can't heal if you're steadily seeing the person. And it was told to me that sometimes you're in the space of that person, stop being in the space of the person. If you know that there's places that that person go, you stop going there. You have to give yourself a chance to heal totally. It's just like a sore. When you have a scab that come over that sore, if you keep knocking that scab off, what happens? That scab doesn't heal because you keep knocking it off. You got to take that sore and you got to nurture it. You got to cover it. You got to put medicine on it. You got to let it go over here and heal. You can't let it go in the environment where the scab was continuing to be knocked off. That's just like you. You got to take yourself out that environment. So if it means you got to change the churches that you go to, change the church. If you got to change where you eat, change where you eat. If you got to change the parties or the people that you socialize with because maybe you all had the same friends, you have to do that because you have to heal yourself until you're strong enough to be able to walk in the space of this individual. You don't need to be around that person. You got to develop a prayer life. I don't know what your spiritual life is, but it has to have God in the center because God is a true healer. There wasn't a person around me that healed me. It was my constant prayer to God. And I laid on my sofa every day calling out to him. I cried. I laughed. I sung. I did everything I needed to do to get myself. And every day it became easier. Every single day. Every day I felt a little bit better. When you cry, it's like a cleansing. And I don't know, sometimes I could cry so hard that my head hurt. But when I fall asleep and I wake up, I always feel better. And I never understood that. But it's a cleansing. So if you have to cry, cry. It's okay to cry. Cry is not a sign of weakness. Crying is a sign of strength. And women will built that way. God made us as the backbone of the family. We nurture, we care for the family. That's why we have the babies. We're the strong person in the whole entire family. We can have these babies and we can take care of these babies and nurture them, and we take care of our men when they're sick and we feed them and send them on their way. That is our job. So we are strong women. We're strong beings. You got to tap into that strength. But you got to allow yourself to go through the process. You got to allow yourself to go through the healing. You can't hide from the pain. You can't. Don't get around these people that are going to encourage you to go see what he's doing. Call him up or call up the woman or who is he talking to. You don't need people that's going to try to convince you to do things that are not going to be healthy for you. You need somebody that's going to pray with you. You're going to need somebody that's going to cry with you. And if you just, like I said, if you only have one person, that's enough. If you only have God, that's enough. During my process, there wasn't anyone that I could talk to. I didn't have anyone that I could talk to but God. And my prayer alone was enough to let me know that he was working on me. And I can honestly say today, when I look at that man, I honestly ask myself, why did I want him? What is it about him that made him so appealing to me, that made me just want to lose my life for him? That's because I know that I'm better. And I know that I'm worthy of someone who will give me equally what I give to them. But you got to be willing to go through the process. You can't hide from fear. You can't hide from pain. Pain is a part of life. Happiness, joy, sadness, all of that, all of those emotions God gave us because we're supposed to experience them. And pain helps you to grow, because once you go through a situation that's so painful, if it ever comes back around, you already know how to deal with it. You can't be afraid of it. You can't be afraid of it. You got to allow yourself the opportunity to feel it, to understand it. You'll go through all types of emotions. Anger in it. You'll be angry. You'll think of the good times. You'll think of the bad times, the sad times. You'll cry. But God will work it out. you'll get it all out of you. That will build you up. I started exercising. I wanted to feel good about myself. I wanted to feel strong. So I started with walking. Walks are great. Walks are really great. When you walk, it takes the stress off of you. And I think even doctors have said that in studies, that walking takes stress and relieves you of tension. So that's why a lot of times people say when you're stressed out, just go for a walk. Go walk. I used to walk for miles. I could walk 2 or 3 miles a day. Just walking. Just walking. I started listening to soothing relaxation music. That may not work for you, but that worked for me. I meditated. I spent time just with my eyes closed, allowing the music to just soothe me and just asking God to give me peace. That helped me. I found a sister that I could talk to. And anytime I needed that sister, whether it was through letters or a phone call or meeting for coffee, I could sit with her and we could embrace and hug. And she let me cry on her shoulder. And then she'll tell me to wipe my tears and let's get up. Let's move. It's just the same way when you lose someone to death. Eventually you heal. It's not that you don't forget who that person was to you or what that life meant to you, but God puts you in a place where you can live with the memory of it, but you can go on with your life. You're healed. You don't forget, but you can heal from it. But the main thing is to keep moving. It's very, very toxic if you keep going back to the situations and the people and the person and thinking that, oh, this time he's going to change. They may bring you flowers and buy you dinner and take you on a fantastic trip, or even buy you, promise you that they'll never do it again. But it takes time to get past that. It takes time to trust people. And you would not trust them. You won't trust them. So the only thing that you would do in that situation if you went back to them is you become more suspicious. You will be doubting everything, and you will be so full of tension and so full of anxiety that you can't live your life. I never tell people to go back to toxic relationships, even though they're relationships that have been bad that people have made and overcome. But I don't see in my lifetime allowing a person to treat me ugly and as if I wasn't worthy of anything. And I feel that I can go back to that person. I feel that I deserve better than that. Don't you? Don't you feel that you deserve to be treated the way that you tried to treat that person? I don't know if this is helpful to anyone, or it may be helpful to someone. All I know that it is possible, but you gotta first work on yourself, because you're not gonna be ready to be in any relationship until you can feel good about who you are and stand on your own 2 feet and believe that you're worthy to be loved and to be treated with respect. And that takes time. It does not happen overnight. Some people are not brought up with the proper role models. Maybe all you saw was dysfunction. Maybe all you saw was a mother that was abused or hurt by men. And you use that as a stepping stone to say, I don't want to be that way. I want to be better than that. And that's what I love my mother dearly. But I do not want to experience abuse. I've never experienced physical abuse, and I don't intend on ever experiencing physical abuse. I feel that you can't hurt anyone on a physical level that you say you love. You can't see that person bruised, battered, and broken that you claim that you love. So it's not even anything that I would accept. It's not anything that I would ever consider forgiving. So just remember that. And I probably will have a part 2 to this video. it's kind of lengthy right now. But to start, I think you need to take time to just sit down and get down on paper everything that you think about yourself. And then you need to read that. And then you need to start crossing off those things that don't really speak you. If you feel that you're not good enough, write out to the side why you're not good enough. You got to have a reason as to why you feel you're not good enough. When you strip yourself down, you get to see everything about you. I was skinny the majority of my life, and I felt because I was skinny that I didn't look as good as other women. But who said that? Social media makes you think that you have to look a certain way. And I always measured myself against other women when I was a young girl. But I truly couldn't change some things about me. I'm still skinny when it comes to certain parts of my body. But what I did was learn to embrace that. Because somebody out there is going to love it just the way it is. God made someone for everybody. And someone is going to appreciate you and everything about you, the skin that you're in. If you feel that you got flaws, I stopped saying I have flaws. Because God made us. And God said that everything he made was good. So I'm not going to say God flawed me. I'm just going to say that there's some things that I wish I could work on. But there's someone that will love you in every little inch, every little piece of hair, wrinkle, scratch, color that you are. But you got to love yourself and let the love that you feel for yourself radiate outward for other people to see. If they can't see it, they're not going to love you. And so that's all I have on this particular video. And I hope that you will take the time to sit down and start meditating and thinking about the things about you that you want to change, the things that you need to work on to make you feel more confident about yourself. So have a good night, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.